Great win for you tonight, Coach. What, before the game, going into the game, did you kind of tell your team?
The biggest thing we talked about was we had to stay together. You know, when adversity strikes and they punch us in the mouth, how are we going to respond? And we did some really good things, and we were inside the 15-yard line 2 or 3 times and came away with no points. And I think you see the leadership on this team as we get to the sideline. There's no finger pointing. It's, hey, Coach, that was my fault. No, Coach, that was my fault. They're taking ownership of what's happening. And so when you get to the sideline and you have that attitude, you get things fixed really quickly. And I think that's kind of what happened that propelled us to victory.
Kind of speaking of that, like you said, you had a lot of opportunities. They sometimes didn't really fall through, especially with kids like this. How do you kind of tell them to keep their chin up, keep going? When I looked at the sideline, there was no chins down. It was always energy. What do you kind of tell them after stuff like that?
Well, I think that deal, it starts in December and off season. It starts with when you put them in adversity, how do they handle adverse situations? And then you put it through them for a long time, and you hope they respond like they did tonight. And I think this team, the leadership on this team showed you that they are committed to one another. They're committed to this program. They're committed to this school, and they want to be excellent. And to be excellent, you got to handle adversity.
On the field, off the field, it's very clear that your team does not lack energy, especially from you. It's very clear that your team's an extension of you. Can you kind of talk about your team feeding off of your energy, you feeding off of their energy?
Yeah, I definitely feed off theirs. We got a bunch of fantastic kids that I love to death that I look at as I got 40 extra sons right now up in this field. And so we go by the term, if you're juiceless, you're useless. So we're going to have a lot of juice at practice. We're going to bring that same juice to the game. I talked to them about, I heard Nick Saban say something that don't let an exterior, external factor influence internal motivation. And so we talked to the kids about that don't let things that are happening outside of what you can control influence how hard you play this game, because this is what you love. And we know that this game can be taken away at any moment. And I think these kids have bought into that.
Absolutely. And just peeking into your huddle right there, it seemed like you were kind of keying in and focusing on looking towards the future, focusing on tomorrow. What can you kind of say about that? Not getting too excited, not too high or not too low about this victory, but moving on and keep working.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great victory. It's one that we've, 3 years in the making for us, and so it was personal to us. But in the end, we've accomplished what we wanted to tonight, and then we talk about getting 1% better. And so we got to be better tomorrow in film than we were tonight. And we got to be better Monday than we were on Saturday. And I think our kids have really bought into being 1% better. And so they know that win or lose, whatever it is, we want to win them all. But win or lose, we're coming back on Saturday, and we're going to be better than we were on Friday. And that's the attitude they have.
Absolutely. And last question, after a season like last season, COVID-19, everything could get shut down, probably one of the wildest football seasons you can have. How important is it to know that you guys can come out here and play and kind of get back to normal?
It's great, and it's great for us coaches, and it's awesome. But really, it's more important for these kids. These kids are so committed to us, to Estacado, to our community, and to get to them to come out here and watch what they get to do day in and day out. It's just a blessing.